Hello, everyone. I know you've missed my enthusiasm. Somebody said I was very enthusiastic, but do you know what time it is? You should, if you've been watching, because it's Take Home Tuesday time. Welcome, everyone. If you were joining us earlier today, you'll know that we just think that the technology little gremlins are out to get us, but we're here live right now. Share it with a friend. Bring somebody on. Bring a smile to your face today is what our goal is, because if you can't laugh, what can you do? Well, you could do the other, but we'd rather laugh and have fun, right? Choose to find something to be happy with and choose to smile at the chaos that blows up sometimes when you're trying to do something good. We are glad you're joining us here today at Take Home Tuesday. Now, I don't know if you watched us last week, or if you're watching this in the future in the little heavens of YouTube and stuff. We actually did this project that I'm wearing last Tuesday. So you can always go back into our Hen Chicks Studio on our Facebook page, on YouTube, or on our website to find out how we created the t-shirts last week. And I think it's kind of cute. I got my little rooster walking around with me all day today. So go back and check that out, but I thought you might want to see it actually being worn, and that you can wear it even if you're a little bit more mature, not a young adult anymore. You can be somewhat stylish with the bleach effect. So this week, very special day coming up on Sunday, Mother's Day, and we thought we would focus a little bit on maybe a project you could do for your mother. We know we missed May Day, but it'd be also something good just to brighten somebody's day. Somebody that's maybe having a down day in the hospital, in the nursing home, and pretty soon the fresh flowers will be blooming. I already have a Japanese iris blooming in my yard. Now, it's only this far off the ground. How that works, I don't know, but I have one bloom on it. And so I don't know if any of you like to cut your fresh flowers. Irises for me have a very special meaning. Any of my family that is watching on the McNair side, my great-grandma McNair had this beautiful iris bed. Anybody out there else love iris flowers? And so I have some bulbs that came from my great-grandma to my grandma and eventually made their way home to me. And so I love to cut those, and it brings back special memory. State track time a few years back when my grandma was spending her last few days with us here on earth before going to heaven to be reunited with my grandpa. I took some of those cut iris from her garden that are now in my house to her, and so fun. Anyway, I digress. So cut flowers are coming soon, so why not make something to put them in? And so today you're going to see our beautiful, and we kind of touched on this a little bit ago, but we're going to be Mod Podging again. And on this one we use tissue paper. And isn't this just gorgeous? We visited our friend Sharon down the street at Something to Share, and she had this rose. Look at that. It's a tie-dye rose. Went perfect in our jar. Wouldn't this make somebody smile? I mean, it just looks like choose happy, right? Perfect for Mother's Day, perfect project you can do. So let's talk about, we've talked about the Mod Podge before, but let's talk about a few different ideas with this. So as I come over here, this literally is a pepperoncini jar that I saved. You know, everybody who thinks that the people that save things are crazy, it came in handy when I went to my basement last night after our Facebook Live and got home to create this. I came in and found it. So sometimes it is good to be saving those things. Perfect repurposing of a project. Again, you could start with anything. This is something that Heidi had arrangements in. We could make it on this, taking tissue paper or napkins, some of the fun napkins, but I would recommend if you're using napkins that you tear off all the plies except for the top ply of it, because otherwise that top ply doesn't necessarily, like the bottom one will stick, but the top one, you got to get through that layer. So just a little tip there. We could use an old rose bowl. We could even use, and I took here just a tiny little votive candle that I had cleaned out. And I actually on this one used some tissue paper. I'm going to show you that first. I had tissue paper that said bride and groom as something that you put in a bag, and it was cut, torn. And so I just took little pieces of it and decoupaged it with the Mod Podge on top of this. Not really worried about whether it was all perfect or not. Be cute to put a little battery operated votive candle down in, something like that. But we're going to go, and today I'm going to show you a couple things. Again, our idea here is just to inspire you to be creative, to bring a smile to your face, to laugh, to say happy days, okay? So this one, I actually took just white, and I think this would be really cute if you just drop fairy lights down in it even. But we're going to take this, I built it with white tissue paper, and we're going to add from there. So we're going to kind of go through some of the steps here. So I just have some colorful tissue paper. Remember, we said technology gremlins are out today. So laugh with us, smile with us, right? Have fun with us. Leave a comment. Tell us to remember things next time. It's okay. So on this, when I did this, I literally just cut some squares. Not even in any order. And they're just in a bowl right here that I cut. And if I wanted to decoupage on, again, we've done this before. We want to lay a little bit of the glue down. If, excuse me, you happen to be using two tips to pick up things, you can use a crayon and just set crayon on top of it because the wax will actually hold your paper. Or you could just take your paintbrush that has a little bit of the glue on it as it floats across the table and just pick it up and start putting it on. Now, I do think it's important to have a layer underneath to help set it. You can just go over the top of it and eventually get enough on there, but just to have a little bit, I think also to help it stick. And now you'll notice on the one that I did with the flower, the tie-dye rose in it, I did that in a pattern because I like pattern and order, but sometimes I need to think outside my box and I need to let things flow a little bit more than trying to be chaotic, or let it be chaotical or whimsical or whatever word you might. Wonky is another word that I think I used that last week because that's what we're supposed to do on my painting class. It's not really class, but just a workshop that I was taking. We were supposed to be wonky, and I discovered I have a hard time being wonky. Can anybody relate to that? Maybe some of you are really good at being wonky, but you can see how quickly, and I'm literally just picking up paper with my paintbrush and just adding it on. And again, I think this would be really cute like this. You've done this before. You've seen it before. Nothing new. We're just giving you maybe a new idea or re-inspiring you. But wouldn't this even be cute just with lights in it, or put a solar light in it and set it outside, you know, along your path if you're having something special? I wouldn't necessarily leave it out there all the time because it's glass, but you could build on other things and do it. So you can start to see how I'm just building this as it goes. Starts to be really pretty, and you know, I think most moms would appreciate this. Or you could use any colorway if you wanted. You can make it match somebody's decor. Just started building it from there. Now let's go back to this white one that I have here. Okay, built it with white. I think it'd be super cute, like I said, with flowers in it.
And I don't dare turn it off at this point, or I'll completely cut off the live stream.
Okay,
so I apologize, people, for not getting that turned off before.
You can enjoy what goes on. You can just imagine some days what it's like here, okay? So this one I'm going to actually maybe be a little bit more structured on, and I'm going to put a flower. So to do this, I've just taken, you know, just your old paper folding. You can make snowflakes or whatever. I've literally just layered, folded it in half, and I'm cutting out flower petals just like that to put on. I'm going to snip it at the bottom at the fold, and now I'm going to go back and start layering, if I can get everything loose off of there. I'm going to start laying my paper flowers. Whoopsie. Got a little excited there. My paper petals, just laying them on here. And you can see, you got to be a little patient with me. You can see, I love how when you start layering the tissue paper, how you kind of create this dimension with it.
And Jamie, as you were doing that, there's been several comments on this beautiful rose, and it really is a real rose, and it really comes like this. It is not like dyed or over dyed. Each petal has a slightly different color, so quite amazing. So you'll have to ask your local florist or come visit us in Conrad.
And we can tell you that has opened up so much since we just brought it down today. That yellow part has really opened up. So I've started to get my little flower going here. I could come back and add some more petals to it. I could layer it. I could even put texture on it if I wanted by wadding some things up. I think I'm going to come back in here and hold on. Let me get going here. I think I'm going to add a little purple on the center of this, just because why not, right? So you can see I'm just playing and I'm creating as I'm playing here. I gotta cut one more. Yep, gotta cut 2 more. So I gotta come back in. But again, you can be creative, and if you put something on and you don't like it, it's not permanent because right now it's wet, it's damp. Obviously it does become permanent over time, but you get to be creative right now with it as you're doing it. This particular time I'm using a glossy Mod Podge. There's different Mod Podge out there that you can use. There's matte, there's all the different, but I used glossy on this one because I thought with the project I was doing, the gloss kind of fit the idea of putting it on glass. So you can see I've just started, I'm just having fun and building, and I'm gonna put, yep, this is gonna be wonky because I personally think it's too big. I would cut it smaller, but for now, I'm gonna layer some yellow on top of it. So now I have my center, my flower. Isn't that cute? And if I wanted it more yellow, because yellow is transparent, you know, the thing with tissue paper, it's transparent. So you can layer it to make it heavier, but you're going to see, and that's what gives us that cool stained glass kind of effect. So I can come back in here if I wanted it more yellow, and I can still add, you know, keep putting some different layers on it. I could put some dots in the middle of it. I could do whatever, you know, this is where your creativity comes. So cute, right? Just white tissue paper with that transforms a glass. Maybe you're having spaghetti for supper tonight, and you have the jar or an empty pickle jar. Hey, look where the lid went on. We just tied little curlicue ribbon around. You could use wide grain ribbon. You could use rickrack. You probably have a better job or whatever. I mean, there's
empty wine bottles would work well.
Empty wine bottles,
which there might be a couple at the end of tonight.
One today, just so you know. Okay, so now the other side, I want to show you something too, because if I had something wrapping paper, like we already talked about napkins, and there's some funny napkins out there. I'm thinking of some people in my mind right now that might have some funny napkins that you could tear that ply off and put it on there and start creating something funny. But I could come back in here and I could actually cut out a couple words. So let's say I wanted to give this to my mom or somebody for Mother's Day. And on this paper, there's one that says love. So I'm going to actually trim that out. I'm going to cut it down. So now all I have left is love. And I'm going to come back in here. And I'm going to put it in my flower. So do you see how I'm just adding some fun to it? And again, it wouldn't have to be. And guess what? If I put that on there and say, oh, I don't like it, I can put something over the top of it again. Okay? So again, I'm just building something, but isn't that cute? One other idea, now I'm going to tell you, you have to be a little careful on this, but is to use packing tape and a piece of paper. Now you have to have a laser printer to do this. You have to lay the tape on your paper. Now, and be careful with it, because on mine at home, I had to put it in the outer tray to load, not on the inner tray, because when it turned around, it would catch the tape and melt it. And then you print on top of the tape. And I don't know if you can tell that that's printed on the tape right there. Okay. You obviously could just use the paper and print and use pinking shears and cut around it and put that on there. I kind of like the layered look though, where it's a little transparent. So this is one, and I started to get the paper off of, so you can start to see the transparency. Now you do have to be careful, because this one I got a little overexcited and I scratched, and so it kind of took some of the top layer of the ink off. But I have one soaking that you cannot see here in water. Because to get that paper off, I'm just going to soak it in water. And then I'm just going to come back and peel the paper off.
And the ink stays on the tape.
You just have to be careful with it because I get too excited and pull it off. But that's one way to do it. And so again, if I just pull off the paper, and this is just soaking in the water, it's not perfect, but it starts to give that transparent look to it. So hold on. See, I'm just tearing it off. And maybe you don't like this idea. Maybe you think I'm crazy. That's okay. You can think that. And then I just come back in here. And again, I kind of got maybe just a little too anxious because I'm trying to hurry here instead of taking my time.
And Jamie, when you're talking about you're being crazy, the girls paid me a compliment the other day and told me I have a crazy brain. Oh. And so maybe you and I both have crazy brains. Yeah. Maybe we all have crazy brains here at Hen Chicks Studio. Maybe that's what is happening.
Yeah. And so then I can come back in and do the same thing. And like this, it's curling up because it was in the paper and I didn't let it dry. But you can start to get the idea how you can build. And that's what we're trying. I'm going to pull it off because I should have been more patient with it. As I sang the song the other day, have patience, don't be in such a hurry. Sometimes we need to remember that. But we're limited on our time and we got to inspire you so you can go get creative. So, cute, yes, no. Do you start to see ideas with it? Do you see some napkins? Maybe you have a treasure of napkins, you know, those singles that you have left. You know, my mother, who might be watching right now, when we moved her from the townhouse to the farmhouse, still had napkins from my graduation. So maybe you have a stash of napkins somewhere that you could go, and those seasonal ones could be fun. I can't even imagine what you guys are going to come up with. I know there's funny ones that talk about wine and friendship and stuff like that. Wouldn't it be fun to take some of that back and put some of those words all around here? So any comments, any questions, any ideas? Anybody sharing anything with us today? Here's the thing. We just want you to have fun and to be creative. And you know what? There's always things every single day that you can go out and have fun with, and you know.
And Deborah, thank you for saying that a crazy brain isn't necessarily a bad thing. And she'd also noted that when my phone was ringing, she thought it was her phone. Oh, so see, you're gonna fit right in there,
awesome.
Deborah.
Yeah. So anyway, we hope that you'll share this. We hope that this inspires you, maybe even for Mother's Day or for a friend somewhere, someplace, whether it's a nursing home or just down the street next door. Think about all those fresh flowers that are going to be coming and blooming very soon, and some little things that you could do with that. Also, think differently. Maybe you want to put it in your color scheme that you have in your home and put some little white lights, twinkle lights down in there, and it's just lights up the room in the corner at night. Set it on a timer. It's just a happy little thing. So, as always, we hope we bring laughter, obviously, and a smile to your face and inspire you to go out and do something creative today. So, until next time, choose happy, be creative, and we'll see you again.